Hello, my name is Philip Bloom, and in this vlog I'm going to take a look at this, the DJI Mavic Pro. This is a production model, I'm told, that was sent to me by DJI to try out about 2 or 3 days ago. My one is still awaiting shipping on pre-order. I have that fancy package with the bag and the extra batteries, but for now I just have this one here, the controller and one battery. I'm also going to take a look a little bit about how it compares to my Phantom 4. I've been using drones for about 2.5 years now. My first one was the Phantom 2 Vision, I think, and then the Phantom 2 with the GoPro, Phantom 2 Vision Plus with the gimbal built-in camera, then the Inspire 1, then the Phantom 3, Phantom 4, also the Inspire 1 Pro RAW. So I've used a lot of drones, pretty much all DJIs. I have bought a few other ones, especially on Kickstarter, which have been incredibly disappointing. So I'm really keen though to see what this is like. This vlog was supposed to be documenting my experiences, my very first experience with the Mavic Pro, but well, everything I got yesterday went really well. I mean, the setup shots looked really good, the light was great, I loved flying with it, but I screwed up on the picture profile. I set it into my custom mode, which I'll go through in a minute, which includes sharpening at -2, but I accidentally pressed a landscape button, it seems, as I came out of it. I only realised this when I got back home and looked at the footage and saw how overly sharpened it was. I connected up the drone to the controller in the app and saw it, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me. So it made much more sense to come back today, redo the shots with this. It's a shame the light isn't as nice, but I'm going to reuse some bits and pieces from that because I don't want to have yesterday's complete disaster. Although mistakes are there to learn from. You do them, so hopefully you'll never do them again. And I'm going to be paranoid about getting my picture profile right. Anyway, this is how yesterday's filming and yesterday's vlog was supposed to start. This is one of the reasons why all this is so cool, what is in here. This is my new Compagnon messenger bag, and inside here is what's exciting. Inside is my shooting kit, well, everything apart from what I'm filming right now, which is the A7R2 from Sony. Zeiss Batis 18mm video micro is just for dual system sound. I'm recording my sound separately on a Smart Lav Plus into my phone, and of course tripod. But in here is the Mavic Pro and the controller. Let me just show you. It's cool because it opens this way as well. So here we go. It's amazing that inside this small messenger bag I have a fully functional 4K drone. I also have a second lens, an 85mm Zeiss Batis. I've got a 360 camera Samsung with a little stick with feet on it, a couple of spare batteries, a charger for my phone, my notepad, another small tripod, lots of memory cards. Inside here is a cleaning pen, another 360 camera, some charging cables, loads of crap really, basically, but the drone is the key thing. I'd love to have more batteries, of course, but I've only got the one, so it's going to keep my testing nice and tight and see what I can get. Wish me luck. Feels like it's going to rain, so I'm going to try and get some shots done quickly. Just take my think tank whip off and open the Mavic out. Just comes down like this, and like this, and this protective dome is just protective dome. Obviously, you can't fly with it on. You wouldn't want to. It just protects the gimbal and the camera from when it's in the bag. Oh, one thing is the clearance is really minimal, so you've got to take off on really good solid ground like this. On grass you're going to have some issues. It doesn't have the clearance of like a Phantom or an Inspire. So we're going to turn on the drone. Turn on the controller. with the iPhone 7 Plus in it. It should detect that it's the Mavic. Hoping. What's that? Go back to equipment. There we go. Mavic Pro connected. New firmware. I did that last night. There's always new firmware. I definitely updated it last night. Oh well, it seems to be fine. Now, settings. This is what's key here. If you can see this. It's such a reflective screen. But I'm gonna try with log, because it's a flat image, and custom style. I've got it to -2, and I've got contrast to -2, and saturation to -1. Now, I had it on landscape yesterday, which was awful accidentally. So there we go. I want my histogram to be on the screen so I can get check my exposure. I would probably recommend shooting in 2.7K, which seems to be the optimum thing, sort of setting for the DJIs, because their compression is too high. It's just 4K. I think it's around 60 odd megabits per second, and that's crazy because it's the same as it is for HD, and you really need to be less compressed. You know, minimum 100, and even this is what this camera is filming right now. The A7R2 is 100, and that's fine, but 60 is just too much, too compressed. Now I'm in power mode. I can select 24p and 4K. I'm going to try 4K and 2.7K, and just double check everything. Auto white balance, no, let's turn that off. We'll just put it to sunny, and I will shoot manually as well. Just double check everything is good. Calibrate. Rotate it anti-clockwise. And same thing vertically. Done. Moment it's focused on the close. Make sure it has, touch autofocus. I'm going to go on to infinity, and we'll be good to go when it does that. Good. So I am going to dismantle the A7R2. I want to walk around. I'm not going to have a camera on a tripod, and I don't have the budget for this to have somebody following me. But if anybody wants to follow me next time, let me know. So I'm going to do some flying, and hopefully it should be a lot better than the stuff from yesterday. I don't know why I set it to log, but I've just taken it out and put it into Cine. Like same other settings, but I just do not like log at all on this. It's just too compressed, way too compressed. It's going to do my first shot, and it's going to move forward. Not that exciting. Those clouds are a little bit overblown. That's a very boring shot. I'll tell you what looks nicer though, and then just bring that exposure down slightly for the clouds, is when you reveal stuff by moving back. So I'm just going to move back, and the shot suddenly becomes way more interesting. There we go. All right, I don't have long on this battery. It's supposed to last about 30 minutes, but in real world, we're looking at around 20 minutes or so of, depending on how much wind there is and how fast you go. But I've got to find shots as well. Just having one battery is a real problem and a real shame. I'd love to have had more. Let's need to check my settings again. It's going to cut a second. I just want to show you this. I think this is quite funny. The gimbal just tilted 90 degrees. The camera's tilted 90 degrees, and I'm now in portrait mode for a drone. Okay, don't know why I would need that, but I am. Let's come up for a closer shot, touch focus. Don't want to get this close normally, but there we go. Why do I want to do portrait on the drone? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see how the follow feature works. So I'm going to go to active track and select me. And go. Okay. So active track mode. You really should be watching the drone though when you're flying. So I mean, it's a cool feature to have, but not, I mean, I'm in a very safe place here, but you really be not recommended to go anywhere else, anywhere that's not deserted like this. So if I start moving, will it follow me around? Yes. Nice. Let's do. Cool. That's enough of that. It works. Just 21% left. I've got so little. So I'm in the car now, and I put the Mavic Pro battery on charge. I'm expecting it to take about 40 minutes or so. I've been looking at the footage on here, and what's interesting is some of it is still not looking right. I mean, I think I got the sharpness too low because it looks a bit mushy at times. It's really difficult trying to get that picture profile right. So I'm going to try something else on here. If I go to my actual size, I'm just finding it a little bit too mushy. So this is set to minus. So I'm going to go to -1. It is tricky. This has always been my issue with the DJI image. It's a real fine line between good images and unusable images. You've got to get it exactly right. And although I think it's the same sensor as the Phantom 4, I'm experimenting with these profiles. Sitting in the car waiting for the battery to charge is a real pain. I mean, it's got to 3 after about 20 minutes from totally flat, which isn't bad at all. But how many batteries is the right amount of batteries? Well, when I'm shooting professionally, using the drones with the Phantom 4, I'd like to have 8, really, because unless you have a charging station, you're going to go through them. With the Inspire 1 Pro, I have even more because the battery life is much shorter. This is rated at about 29 minutes to say, but that's like sedate flying with no wind. I don't think, and that's also completely zero. So you always want to bring it back at like 20% anyway. So you're looking at really around 20 to 22, 23 minutes of usable flying time. So, I mean, the thing is with the Mavic Pro, it's a portable drone. That's the whole point of it. If you have a bag full of batteries, it defies the purpose of it. So maybe 4 is a good number for this, but you always better to have too many batteries and not enough, because charging in the car is such a pain. Now, but picture profiles, my God, I mean, I'm just not happy with what I've got. With the GoPro and with most other cameras, actually, I set the sharpness to minus maximum, really. But if you do it with the DJI cameras, it goes to mush. So even at -2, it looks for me too mushy. When I'm blowing it up and looking at it, for me it's not acceptable. So I'm going to go to -1, which is actually what I've been using normally. I don't know why I have it -2, not log. I don't know why I even attempted to shoot log again here, because I've tried in the past and the codec is just too compressed. It can't handle 60 megabits a second is not enough for 4K anyway, full stop. But a log at 40 megabits a second and an 8-bit codec, forget it. You're going to have to bake it in somewhat. Still, somewhat flat, but not like this. But the sharpness is key. Sharpness is key. So we'll try -1, we'll try 0. I'd love to experiment a lot more, but I'm not going to spend all day coming backwards and forwards and sitting in the car and charging this up, because this is not a fun way to spend a day. But I am going to go out with the Phantom 4 next, so I'll take the backpack with the Phantom 4 in it, and I'll put the Mavic Pro in it. And the joy of that is the Mavic Pro takes up the same space as the controller, takes up no space at all. So all in one bag, which is good. I'm just waiting. The cloud is not going to break, not going to have the lights that I had yesterday. Well, that was at sunset anyway, golden hour. but I want to be back. I want to edit. I have a shoot tomorrow. I need to prepare my kit for that, and also go through storyboard and figure out what we're doing exactly. So, and I need to cut this. The plan was to have this shot and edited in one day, and it's turning into, as always, more work than was planned. Still not as bad as some of my other vlogs. I'm still working on my autofocus vlog because it's just so bloated and complicated. It probably needs at least 3 more days of editing on that one, but this should be a relatively easy edit, hopefully. Having only flown 3 flights now, I don't feel qualified to give you a proper opinion, certainly not a definitive opinion. What I can share with you so far is I love the size of the Mavic Pro, very much. It's incredibly clever. I love the controller. I think I prefer the controller. It seems, I love having the actual display on the top and seeing all your telemetry information, and just having the screen really mostly just for the actual what the camera's seeing and your other settings. After fiddling with the picture profiles, I feel like I've kind of got almost to where I want it to. I still need to have a bit of a mess around more, and I want to go out somewhere and really shoot with it properly on a nice day with lovely light. Just with one battery, it makes it difficult to do something like that. I'm not going to go driving somewhere too far where I'm only going to be able to just use one battery, so I just need to get some more batteries. I have some on order. I have my own Mavic Pro on order, which is coming with 3 batteries. I don't know when they're going to arrive, so at the moment I just have the single battery with the Mavic that was supplied by DJI. I love the size. I find it incredibly nimble, really responsive. I feel happier taking it down some really narrow and intricate spaces, much more than I would with even, say, the Phantom 4, and forget using the Inspire in something as narrow as this. What about negatives? Well, it is a narrower field of view, slightly narrower than the Phantom 4. I don't know how well it will perform in heavier wind. I mean, for example, the Inspire 1 works really well in some. I've had some quite windy times, and it's been amazing what it can do, whereas the Phantom wouldn't be able to cope with it. So I have no idea whether this little drone will do as well. Maybe, maybe not, but until I've actually tried it, I don't know. I haven't tried it in any high wind, and really then you start comparing it with the other drones, and it becomes quite a convoluted comparison. Okay, the Mavic is put away in a little pouch in my think tank bag, and Phantom 4, I'm not going to do much because the light's rubbish. I just want to get back and just have a look at the footage, but just enough to compare, that's all. It's so weird now to have the Phantom feel like a big drone, because it's not. It still flies beautifully, and looking at the images, it's too unscientific for me to compare the two. They look very, very similar. Phantom has a slightly wider field of view. Image quality wise, I really need to do some side-by-sides. Probably just not flying, just set up in my house. With the Mavic, one thing I'm definitely missing is the ATTI mode. It seems it can only fly in GPS mode. ATTI mode I use so I can get smoother shots where you don't get little course corrections that GPS give you. But also, if you ever have any issues with GPS or with any interference or anything like that, and it's not behaving as it's supposed to, you flick into ATTI mode and take manual control of it. Not having that seems a bit bizarre, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm missing something, but I have no idea where ATTI mode is. I've looked it up and it seems to be missing from the Mavic Pro. Maybe because it's being marketed more as a consumer drone, I don't know. But it doesn't make any difference. You really having this mode, for me, is a really important thing. The size is the thing that strikes you the most about this. The fact is, pretty much a Phantom 4 in this tiny body is quite astonishing. It's certainly a drone I feel I'm going to take around with me a lot more and potentially use a lot more, because I don't bring my Phantom with me that much on stuff because it's an extra case or an extra bag. So keep an eye on my social media, my website, my Vimeo and YouTube channels, because hopefully soon I'll have more than one battery and I can take it out and go somewhere really nice and shoot with it and get something much better than what I've got over the past 2 days. Really all this was just to test it out. Now I really just want to use it. That's the key, because it's an incredible little device. How do they make it so small?